actually believe that anybody in TPU...
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Associated Guests. I, as always, am your host, Alfie Animus. I'm alive. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's been going on with me. I'm still not feeling great. So I'll more than likely end up going to the doctor this week to see what's going on. But that aside, thank you for your support. Thank you for following me on X, a lot of you. Even when I don't post here. And then I did do a gaming stream yesterday for the channel. It was a really big turnout, so I thank you for that. Played some Spider-Man to celebrate the Spider-Man movie hitting $2 billion worldwide, almost $1 billion in the U.S. alone. So, but anyway, I do greatly appreciate it. But anyway, no need to worry about me. It's just, I don't know. I probably have COVID. But anyway, love you guys. Thank you for the support, and let's get into this.
USA had
myself in.
Final thoughts. I'll come to you first.
It was pretty fun. They were so Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson had their debate over the weekend. Candace was smug. She brought no facts. Andrew didn't do as well as I was hoping. People always say that he's a great debater, which, from what I've seen of him, seems to be true a lot of the time. I think Crowder's better just because he is more knowledgeable on the subject. Andrew seemed like he didn't really have any notes. And there are people who said he had an earpiece in his right ear. I don't know how true that is. There are people who said Candace had an earpiece, which is the only reason how she could know all the charges. But
yeah, she had nothing. Just nothing. For all of her claims of Patsy, nothing. She didn't have a single claim. She didn't have a single solid piece of evidence. She had no positive evidence Israel's involved in anything.
Which is true.
No positive evidence that...
but she has mommy vibes. She has all the mommy vibes, guys. Every single one. All of the vibes.
France is involved in anything. No positive evidence TPUSA is involved in anything.
Yeah, so she thinks France is involved. She also thinks that TPUSA is involved. And, of course, Israel's involved. Because the Jews.
No positive evidence that Erica Kirk is involved in anything. When I ask her about her claims about Erica Kirk, yeah, it's just funning. It's just funning, you know? Or, yeah, I do think that she needs to sit down and ask some questions, but, or answer some questions, but you know what? I don't even know if she has. Like, maybe she has. I have no idea.
The funny thing is, Candace sat down with Erica Kirk. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I'm going to have an official timeline with unconfirmed evidence. That's just fine. Hey, it's hearsay. If that's good enough for the state, it's good enough for me. But my biggest problem with the state is that they're admitting all this hearsay. It's like she's a contradiction machine. On top of all of this, the thing that I wanted to get out of this more than anything else was to just demonstrate one thing. Yes, it's true. I'm not perfect on the case. I'm not going to ever pretend that I am, and never did. But what has been made very clear to me is that there's nobody with an alternative theory that has any evidence for it at all. None. Zero. Do you have any positive evidence whatsoever that Israel killed Charlie Kirk?
Well, I couldn't say Israel was on the ground and shot and killed Charlie Kirk. I would say that there are various things that we're trying to establish, one being a motive. And since I don't believe that Tyler Robinson and his transferee is a convincing motive.
Okay, extreme fact check, mission control. We have so many of the Israel clips.
Politics,
get the best one to Gerald.
He never spoke about with him. Nor do I believe that he was, so into LGBTQ issues, since Lance testified they never spoke about LGBTQ issues, that he stopped and ate at Chick-fil-A, which if you are into LGBTQ issues, wouldn't be your lunch before you go kill Charlie Kirk for LGBTQ issues, because,
No gays ever eat at Chick-fil-A.
Oh my God. As I feel like like I said, you don't get to for an hour and a half.
But the question I'm asking is about positive evidence.
I'm telling you that in any case, establishing a motive, and again, I already explain this at the top of the show, but the reason why people find Israel to be an interesting question is because, truthfully, Charlie's perspectives were
So just
changing
to
on
be clear,
Israel.
she said,
and he was starting to
Lance
realize
said they never
how much
discussed it.
pressure was being
His opinions on Israel hadn't changed. His opinions on the Israel lobby, he was against the Israel lobby, not Israel.
put on not just our government.
Sure, Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson never discussed LGBTQ issues. They were just fucking.
People had come out and been honest about that.
You don't talk
rather
about it, you
than
just do it.
rabid claiming he never
Roommates
flinched
dating, but you understand the point.
and everybody's lying and this is not true. You would probably have people that just go, that's life. People change their opinions.
I understand.
And then there was the rabid, I mean, not even that. It's like everything was about trying to convince the public how much he liked it.
So
He
then,
loved
other
Israel.
than intuition, how you feel about things, do you have any evidence Israel was involved?
He did like Israel. Charlie Kirk was pro-Israel. You can be against the Israel lobby. You can not like AIPAC. You cannot like some of the things that Netanyahu does and still be very pro-Israel. Hi, talking right now. I don't like AIPAC. A lot of people don't like AIPAC. Nuxanor, Lord Nuxanor doesn't like AIPAC. I think the only conservative Jew that's prominent that likes AIPAC, I don't even know if Ben Shapiro does, actually. I really don't pay attention to him that much anymore, honestly.
Involved in killing Charlie Kirk?
I have already said, and if you're watching my show in the context of what I said, this is the general sense of why people think Israel's involved.
No, how about why, right now, you have made the claim, right now, is there any evidence?
Israelis.
This is important, guys.
Obviously,
Hey, everyone out there, she's your champion.
Who I think would have the right to assert it, noted that there were 12 Israeli cell phones on the ground that day. I think most people would like to probe that. Now, it could be maybe they were students, and they were Israeli students in Utah that day. But we'd like to probe that narrative because what we've seen after coming from the Israeli government, the Israeli prime minister, kind of denying that he did it, which wasn't really necessary. He was quite
the
busy.
Jews, yes.
The phone call that happened, which no one wants to discuss in the Hamptons the week prior, or not the week prior, I think it was around August 5th or 6th that took place. And again, the
Month
almost
prior.
desperate lies about Charlie shifting opinion on Israel lead us to believe that there could be an Israeli angle in this.
Not desperate lies. Charlie was pro-Israel. He was growing in his lack of support for the Israeli PAC, the AIPAC.
But we cannot say for
That's very
certain.
clear. There were never any shifting opinion on Israel. Charlie Kirk's opinions shifted on Israeli donors, which, by the way,
Yeah, Israeli
I
donors.
absolutely believe is true, is why I decided to never go the 501c3 route. Don't like those donors.
You want to say, however, positive, negative, however you want to say it.
Well,
I
like
don't
positive
need to. I
evidence
can just
would
have
be
a conversation.
material evidence and other evidences which would
what
point
we've
you
said
to it.
is on our show is what we've said, which is this
Any of it?
feels
Have your fact
like
checkers bring up what you
a
said.
conspiracy building. There's no reason to lie about these things, and yet people are lying. BB ain't acting right. The Hamptons thing was weird, and the way they tried to shove the Israel narrative down our throat immediately. I mean, the day he died, posting a picture of him with an American and Israeli AI'd photo on the president's feed doesn't feel right. Via whom? My guess is Pierre. Erica. I think that there's a reason Pierre knew that Charlie was dead first. I think there's a reason he was a priority. How? Why? I think France and Israel are involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination.
France and Israel, that old French-Israeli alliance.
I understand. So you think you with full confidence, you think that
Yeah, I think
that
Israel's
France
involved.
and Israel.
Yeah, I wanted the person that gave me that thing that I
Can we play back what she just said there, where she didn't? She just said things aren't right and other people are.
Again,
She
this
said
would
France,
be
Israel involved. I'll put that with full confidence.
for me to
She is,
go.
maybe at the end of this we could have her contradicting herself throughout this thing. Come on, we just want, we actually want truth. Asking questions.
What, Candace Owens contradicting herself? Next thing you'll be telling me that she mispronounces words a lot.
Why express that confidence to the public as opposed to just being like, we don't know yet. I feel confident he's involved. They
But
made an
I
arrest.
don't understand, how would any of this make her complicit, and in what?
Well, I've already told you. She's complicit in trying to fool the public into thinking this is some open and shut case.
Erica Kirk should be dragged into a police precinct for questioning. Like I said, you can show me the person who disagrees with me on that.
Explain to us what she is trying to paint here, where preliminary hearing versus the actual trial, because that's a very important distinction, right? He was trying to say, well, this is what's being presented at the, for example, reasonable hearsay. Explain to us. for life.
I don't care about that
In
guy.
the
I don't know the
beginning,
guys.
I did not take an hour and a half to just pull out of context clips with Andrew. I actually debated the substance of what's going on. You were an Army sniper?
I wasn't a sniper in the Army.
Okay.
And I never said that. But
Sorry, your wife tweeted that you were an Army sniper.
yeah.
His wife tweeted that 15 years ago, by the way.
Oh, like 15 years ago, she said something.
Yeah, see.
Does it
She said
change
that it
15
was-
years later?
She said that it was colloquial. So,
Army sniper is a colloquial term?
yeah, I was never an
Don't
Army
let her
sniper.
shift
Okay.
the burden here to
What
something
did
that
you do in
Rachel
Army?
Wilson
She
tweeted
then
15
corrected
years
and said
ago.
you
She
fought
meant to
right
say
for
that
the
he's the
Army.
equivalent of an Army sniper. He's a very, very good shot.
I sit down with
Yeah.
Eric.
I mean, people say stuff like that all the time. She never said it in context of him being knowledgeable or anything like that. She just said that he was a very good shot. Also, I can't find any record that Wilson was in the military necessarily, but he knows a lot about guns. He's very knowledgeable about guns. Good morning. How you doing, Angie?
Erica for 4 hours under the assumption
Sorry, I've
that
been gone for so
he had
long.
some evidence, right? I actually, this is why I did not engage in any.
I'm still not feeling great.
Erica, everyone's questioning what she's wearing and all this stuff. I was like, I'm gonna wait here.
She did.
Because I don't know, just it feels weird to think that. Did I think that some of her mannerisms were weird and stuff like that? Yeah, but that's
You
not-
actually did, by the way. You can
convince
bring up the
somebody of
clip where
weird
she talks about
mannerisms.
Erica's stylist.
And then-
Here's a clip of Candace doing just that.
I always try to stay away from the pettier things about Erica that don't.
She says, even before she says it then, she said, oh, I try to stay away from the petty things. The petty things about Erica, the person who married my sweet Babu.
Register as right, but I just go, okay, it's a little too petty when people talk about her outfits, her wearing the glitter pants and things like that. Yeah, it does kind of build a profile of somebody. I personally just say that I think her stylist is just deeply dislikes her, whoever it is, deeply.
Unlike everyone else, I don't talk about her outfits.
There is, however, tons of evidence that a leftist killed Charlie Kirk, just as Charlie feared they would. I believe Charlie Kirk, and I have the receipts. No, I didn't have a dream where he came to me and told me that the left killed him. No,
Which
he
is
didn't
something
come
that
to me
she
in a dream
said.
and say,
The funny thing is, she took that so to heart because I think this is something he said early. I think this is his opening arguments or opening statement or whatever. But she said that Charlie came to me in a dream. We'll play a little bit of that video. I wanted to play it over the weekend, but I still wasn't feeling great. And then yesterday I decided to play Spider-Man instead because I saw that Spider-Man Brand New Day made $2 billion worldwide.
no one's betrayed him. That never happened. In fact, I don't need dreams of any kind because I hold in my possession never before seen messages from Charlie Kirk to his security team on September 9th, 2025.
Oh.
I'm going to share the message with you today, which is the first time this information's ever been publicly revealed.
Oh,
On September 9th, Charlie's security team wrote to him, yes,
Spicy.
law enforcement has been fully supportive and agreed to security plan and posture. Tomorrow's event will be covered by both my team and the campus PD. If additional support is required, patrol units will be available. I have 11 on site. Charlie responded with this, okay, great. Remind them that they are there for one person's security only, because I'm somewhat worried the left is trying to kill me. That was a message sent September 9th.
By the way, personal experience, 2 people have been.
Whatever
I
could
can
he
tell you
have
I've
meant
sent
by
very similar
that?
texts.
Well, I think he meant exactly
Gerald
what he
confirmed
said.
he's seen the text. It's real.
I am
get there
doing
from the
exactly what the
inference.
state did. I
Okay.
am looking at a piece of evidence and I am saying.
But you're not showing me how you get there
Can you
from
describe
the
to the audience what
Yes.
Rule 1102
So
means?
this, just so everybody who's watching this at home understands what I am saying, even if he doesn't. What Andrew is arguing is that
She's so condescending. I don't know if it's gonna make $3 billion. I think it will. It has strong enough legs, but it is dropping off pretty consistently from week to week. But I think it could make $1 billion domestically. I think it'll make $2.5 billion. Sorry, talking about Spider-Man. But I don't know if it'll make $3 billion. It could. I think if, and honestly, 100%, I think if, say, you don't make Jean Grey the bad guy, or you don't make her a malicious murderer, spoilers, I'm so sorry. I'm terrible about that. I'm gonna throw out spoiler alerts in advance way before from now on, because I almost spoiled yesterday for Yanuka during the stream. But I think if you make a couple small changes, we'll say I apologize. I think you have more fans going back and watching it. I think you have people who did like me and then go back and watch it again in IMAX the following week after they kick the Odyssey out. I think it's got strong enough legs to absolutely hit $3 billion. On top of just being a really good Spider-Man movie with a couple caveats. But as far as Candace Owens, she is so condescending. Like, he's sitting there trying to understand how she gets to her stupid-ass conclusions, and she says things like, and her acolytes online will say things like, I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. You're retarded.
I don't have the right to extrapolate from a fact like
Just making it up. Just purely making it up. I'm asking based on
Andrew.
I think, yes. Sorry, more spoilers. Not really spoilers, but pretty much what you see in the previews is all you see of Scorpion or anyone, really. Which is fine. I kind of expected like a little splash montage, but I don't know. I'm happy to see Michael Mondo in anything. He's fantastic. He's a great actor. I don't think he gets the love that he should. Of course, you could say the same thing for people like Michael Jai White. He's another great actor who plays great characters, who has had a lot of really great iconic roles, like Spawn. But Spawn was made far too soon. I really wish they'd made it like maybe 5-10 years later. And I wish they would stop dragging their feet. I don't think Jamie Foxx's version is going to come out, unfortunately.
I to say that Rule 1102 says hearsay is all admissible, or that it's all hearsay. That's a lie. And I'll show it.
The entire preliminary hearing that you just saw was on the basis of reliable hearsay. And what that means essentially is the people who are making the statements can just say, Patrick told me that he did this on Monday.
All hearsay is admissible, and not everything presented was hearsay.
It's just meant to be probative. And so it's the state saying, here's what we have inferred. So you are allowed to take a piece of evidence, and then you are allowed to infer off of that evidence, okay? Case in point, that's a demonstration that's a demonstration of what I just did. I said, the prints were the...
Sorry. Let's not say what the post-credit scene was, even though it's not really that important. But it was mostly just put there, I think, by the... whatever the brothers who works on all the Avengers movies since Infinity War. I think it was just put there by them, which is really dumb considering how that particular program works. But again, we won't get into that right now.
Most degraded off of Tyler Robinson. And from that, what I am inferring is that it's plausible that Tyler Robinson was set up.
That doesn't. That's the point in contention.
That's not a point in contention. That's
the point in contention.
It's not a point in contention. If you're saying it's a point,
it is the point in contention.
It's not the point in contention. I'm telling you that is what the entire hearing allowed for. So the evidence that he is describing,
we're asking you
that he is using to argue his case, is all based on inference, not fact. I actually, this is why I did not engage in any like Erica, everyone's questioning what she's wearing and all this stuff. I was like, I'm going to wait here because, I don't know, just it feels weird. I always try to stay away from the pettier things about Erica that don't register as right, but I just go, okay, it's a little too petty when people talk about her outfits, wearing the glitter pants and things like that. Yeah, it does kind of build a profile of somebody. I personally just say that I think her stylist is just deeply dislikes her, whoever it is, deeply dislikes her.
I want to just directly ask you is, do you actually believe that anybody in TPUSA or Erica Kirk or Erica actually participated, had foreknowledge of, or facilitated the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I'm not going to get myself into a legal pickle here.
Oh my
Everything
God!
I said is on my podcast. I think
Guys, hey, if you're out there saying it's clear Erica or TPUSA did it, guess what?
If I
Candace won't say it.
I would seat them all.
So either she doesn't know or she's a coward and you need a better champion.
I would.
So all the people out there with YouTube channels, and it's done. It's done now. Your theories she won't back up because she says she won't get in a legal pickle. She doesn't have the courage that you do on your X profile or Instagram or YouTube channel with 50,000 subscribers. She won't do it. She won't do it. You need someone better.
These are all things that I'm not even disputing.
Okay, so we don't have to show it.
We never get to the thing that I am disputing.
Well, I was just providing an answer. We were coming back in from a break because
no.
you were talking about the text messages, something that you felt was concrete. So it was just my rebuttal to you that it's not concrete because they haven't had a chance to actually answer that, and she didn't even get to see your client's phone. So that's effectively.
So fingerprints aren't
again,
concrete because his weren't the most notable fingerprints,
don't get
okay?
discovery on these
The text messages aren't concrete because they were taken from a cracked phone, even though the defense didn't dispute the authenticity. The father's admitting, when questioned, that his son did it, and he advised him to speak to a youth pastor, is not concrete because he didn't bring it forward and turn his
It's called
son in.
losers. They may not be fabricated.
But none of those pieces of information, ultimately, the facts that matter in a case, are in dispute. Not even by Candace.
My position's always been clear. Of course conspiracies exist. Some of them have way better evidence than others, but I've seen them myself. I know conspiracy. In fact, the federal government has hundreds of thousands of laws about conspiracies. They see them everywhere. We both know this, right? That's never what the problem is. The problem is when you make claims outside of, well, wait a second. I'm just questioning evidence here. I'm just questioning what the state's case is here. I'm just asking questions. It's when you make claims outside of that, where you claim that there's good evidence or good standards you should believe because, and then it turns out that it's all nonsense or it's wackadoo stuff or it makes no sense. And when we have a chance to cross-examine your evidence that you've presented, I'm going to show a lot of that.
We all know that there are people who will agree with you. And by the way, PBD's crowd mostly agreed, mostly thought you won. We'll bring up our own.
Real quick before that, this thing with Tim Pool's on Jubilee is getting way overhyped. Tim Pool, the Republican Party rejects neo-Nazism, correct? Yes. This guy, no, Donald Trump invited Nick Fuentes to have dinner with him. Do you think Nick Fuentes is a neo-Nazi? You've had him on your show. First of all, Donald Trump didn't invite Nick Fuentes to dinner. He invited Kanye West, and this is before the Hitler song. This is before any of that. This is before him going on with the mask on Alex Jones' show, I believe, and also going on that show with Tim Pool, I believe. But Donald Trump did not know Nick Fuentes was coming to dinner. I don't think he even knew that Milo was coming to that dinner. He was brought by Kanye West. And this was all a ploy by Milo Yiannopoulos because he said that he is going to destroy the Republican Party. He said this when he had his toxic downfall, when he admitted that he was abused as a kid. But he said it's normal for gay people to have those experiences, which is true. Most of my gay friends had a groomer who was an older gay man. A couple of them married them, but still they had their groomers when they were coming up through the gay community. But again, Donald Trump did not invite Nick Fuentes to dinner. He did not invite him to dinner. And then also, yeah, I agree with this. I wouldn't describe Nick Fuentes as a neo-Nazi. He's really just someone who says outlandish things. I would describe him as a neo-Nazi. You don't think that Nick Fuentes celebrating Adolf Hitler is not neo-Nazi adjacent. He also celebrates Stalin. He does it for shock value. And I agree with this point. This is absolutely retarded. And then the fact that this same guy kept asking him questions and then wouldn't stop talking to let Tim Pool answer his question. So I understand why he just walked off, because most of these people weren't there. They were there to get clips for their own stupid ass little channels. They weren't there. Look, I'm not the hugest fan of Tim Pool. I like him okay. I think that he's done great things in the space. I think that him on Joe Rogan was probably his crowning achievement. But honestly, people keep leaving his show for a reason.
Poll. But you know that there are people who will already agree with you no matter what, people who will agree with her no matter what. Then there are some who have ears to hear, eyes to see.
Hi, that's me. Eyes to hear.
How do you think that needle will
eyes to see, ears to hear.
I think it's the beginning of a snowball effect.
Okay.
So now that she's been challenged, I think, and had to give an accounting for the evidence, did a very poor job. I think that more of them will feel compelled to do more of these debates, or at least I'm hoping so. And I think that that'll create the snowball effect. At least that's what I'm hoping. but ultimately, there wasn't a need to push back too much on too many things because she just admitted that she didn't have any evidence for anything.
Well,
It's
that
like,
was...
where do you go from there? You're like, hey, do you have any evidence for that? And they're like, no. She went back on all of her claims, and so like, where do you go from there? In other words, there was nowhere I needed to go to demonstrate what it was that I was trying to demonstrate, which is that these people have lots and lots of claims, and the second they're confronted with them, they back off on all of them.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Hey, good morning,
Those
Yanuka.
Sources? What a joke that was. My sources told me. My sources told me.
Hey,
Well,
Yanuka, don't go
validates
back
your
and look at the
sources.
comments,
The
please.
fact that I've released some
Mild
footage and
spoilers.
Stuff, how would that validate your sources in these things? That makes no sense at all. These, I think ultimately, I'm sure that there's going to be some negative clips about me, especially pushed by the Owens people. But ultimately,
I'm going to do some negative clips on you, but that's just for funsies.
Yeah, of course. But ultimately, she didn't have anything. She had nothing.
Yeah.
She literally had nothing. And so...
And yet more than half of X, at least in my feed, of course I have a lot of retards that I follow, just to see what they're going to say. They all say that she won. Hands down, she won. What debate were you watching? I mean, I'm not saying he did a great job by any stretch of the imagination, but she most certainly did not win.
What made this an easy debate for me was that she didn't fucking have nothing. It's like, what do you want me to do?
Hey, do you like what you saw? I don't know how because it's on YouTube.
Okay, real quick. We're going to watch some Lord Nuxanor right here.
The Koreans!
You know, why?
A massive
So this is the timeline of her saying different things killed Charlie Kirk, I believe.
debate, a huge debate against Andrew Wilson regarding who actually killed Charlie Kirk. I'm very excited to see the cripple fight. I mean, it's not really a cripple fight. This is literally going to be an actual one-sided slaughter, and it's going to be very entertaining for me.
It turned out to be more of a cripple fight. He didn't do great. He definitely did better than she did, but he didn't do great.
Now, someone actually wanted to track the ever-changing theory Candace Owens pushed onto who actually assassinated Charlie Kirk. So apparently, these are 6 different theories that she says this is the one that actually is true.
Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright. He wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself, and then...
I very much doubt that part. No one would ever want to bring Candace Owens back. Once you get rid of her, you're happy to be rid of her, and I'm sure her British lord husband would feel the same.
And did he,
No
just
evidence
48
for that
hours later,
part.
conveniently catch a bullet to the throat
Other than the fact that she makes her own money, she serves no purpose.
before our on-stage reunion?
That's a funny face.
All right,
Whether-
so theory 1, it was to stop Charlie Kirk from collaborating with Candace Owens.
Yeah.
All right.
or not, Charlie's assassination was meant to distract us from the Brigitte Macron investigation, and rightfully so. That is a fair question, because as you guys know, it was Charlie Kirk that called me and told me that they wanted me to stop speaking about Brigitte. Hell,
Second theory, the reason why Charlie Kirk was assassinated was actually because Candace Owens was talking about Brigitte Macron's penis too much.
Yes.
was Charlie Kirk doing it?
Yes. Second theory, she talked too much about about French Prime Minister wife penis too much. Look, the whole thing with Brigitte Macron is worthy of conversation, but more the fact that she was a grooming pedophile, more so, well, potentially a grooming pedophile, more so than her potential penis.
In Korea. If I had to today
Potential,
give
if you
my
will.
best guess as to why Charlie Kirk was assassinated, it's because an offer came to him to become the next moon. And you just turn the other way. Don't ask questions about where the money's coming
It was the
from
Koreans.
or how you're getting the money. Just keep things afloat.
It was the Koreans!
You know, why not?
knew
If
it.
Moon could traffic, help the CIA traffic.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk was supposed to become a child trafficker. He refused, and therefore they killed him. That's theory 3. That's this is her most believable one, though.
In the name of the Lord, why couldn't Charlie Kirk's organization do that? I think this is what Charlie Kirk turned down, and the one person who stood between America's involvement with a full-scale war in Iran was Charlie Kirk.
Next reason why they killed Charlie Kirk was because Charlie Kirk was stopping the war with Iran.
1-year-old, he's the person that's stopping us from getting what we want. It is
First of all, Charlie Kirk had no real power to stop a war in Iran. He wasn't a politician. He wasn't a leader of any kind. He was in charge of Turning Point, which is a big organization, but it doesn't hold the kind of power that you think it does. Does it hold the power to sway elections? Yes, it very much did so. I strongly believe that without Charlie Kirk pushing for Trump to be elected, without him campaigning for Trump, I don't think Trump... I don't see, well, at least not Trump winning in the landmark victory that he won in this last election.
My personal belief that is the very reason that they colluded to have that obstacle eventually removed.
That's why
Charlie
it
Kirk
happened.
murdered by the states, the deep states, to protect Epstein's
It was
global
to protect Epstein.
trafficking.
Oh,
That's
yes.
the other reason. That's the
Is
other
it fair
reason.
to ask if it's plausible that when Charlie was taken to the Hamptons, the phone call no one wants to address from Bibi Netanyahu, is it fair
No
to
evidence for that,
ask the question
by the way.
if it was literally supposed to be me who was supposed to be back on tour with Charlie? Did he say no to killing Candace Owens?
Ah, yes, of course. Charlie was killed
And then
because
did
he
become a
refused to
liability
kill
because he said
Candace
no?
Owens. Yes, see, Charlie was murdered because Candace Owens, because he was told by Netanyahu to kill Candace Owens. These are things that she actually says. Candace Owens, in July of this year, mind you, less than 2 months ago, probably just over a month ago, Candace Owens uttered, "Hey, maybe Charlie got killed because when he was in the Hamptons allegedly with Bibi Netanyahu, or got a call from Bibi Netanyahu while he was in the Hamptons allegedly, he was told to kill Candace Owens because she was supposed to go back on tour with him allegedly, and he said, no, I won't kill Candace Owens because this isn't Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. You can't be a podcaster and a murderer." What? Why?
All right, so
This is probably the
theory
dumbest one.
evolved a lot over the year, as you can see, and thank you for your attention to this matter. She's just crazy.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely insane. The fact that anyone takes this person seriously, just astounding to me. Again, yes, R.I.P. I don't know who Carly Chirk is, but yes, R.I.P. Anyway, moving on.
Macbeth said to Hamlet in, I don't know, Midsummer Night's Dream, "Pride cometh before a fall, dear viewer." And never was that proverb more true than in the case of Patty Jenkins, the one-time hotshot director who scored big with Wonder Woman, proving that girls too can direct big-budget, factory farm superhero slop. And for about 5 minutes, she really was the toast of the town, lauded as the next Catherine Bigelow, demanding and securing salaries as big as her male counterparts, with grand plans to direct everything from mega-budget Star Wars movies to sweeping historical epics. Then it all fell apart in an absolute catastrophe of box office bombs and personality clashes that broke her career so badly she was completely blacklisted by the industry and hasn't directed a single thing since.
And for good reason. Look, this is the same thing that happened with the guy that directed Thor: Love and Thunder and Ragnarok. Ragnarok was very well received. Some people say it's their favorite MCU movie. I find those people crazy. But it was very enjoyable. It was probably one of the more enjoyable non-James Gunn, non-Avengers, non-Captain America Winter Soldier movies in the MCU. Winter Soldier is, of course, my favorite of the non-Avengers movies in the MCU. But just like... Taika Waititi, that's what it was. Just like Taika Waititi, Patty Jenkins did a pretty good job. She did a pretty good job, and it was very well received because it was Wonder Woman. And people have been clamoring for them to make a successful female-led superhero movie for quite a while. And it was done well enough. Gal Gadot wasn't asked too much in the role. Gal Gadget. Yas, queen, titty power. Yes. I mean, I've said it a few times, but, you know, that mostly when talking about City Sweetie Jean ads. But But no, Gal Gadot was not demanded too much of like she was in the sequel, because she's not a great actress. I thought she was a weird choice for Wonder Woman. I think she did a pretty good job in the first one. The second one, I mean, it's very clear that she was hired for her very beautiful face. She's very beautiful. And she seems like a very sweet lady. And she former IDF, I believe. Yeah, agreed.
Plenty of people.
But the same thing happened with Patty Jenkins again. She did a pretty good job in the first one when there was other people saying what to do, and then they gave her full reign over the next movie, and it sucked donkey balls. Just like Thor Love and Thunder. Thor Love and Thunder had a few funny parts, yes, but it was mostly just, I mean, there was a lot of really good. Thor's lore is weird in general because it does follow the Norse mythology a lot, but also within Marvel Comics, there's some weird shit in there. So given that and Taika Waititi, it was a weird fucking movie. The goats were in it too much. The love triangle between Mjolnir and Stormbreaker was funny the first time or two, and then it started getting super weird. And then it was funny again on the last one, but still.
People have reached greater heights, but few have fallen quite as low as Patty Jenkins. So let's find out how it happened, shall we? Jenkins was born in California in 1971, the daughter of an environmental scientist and a US Air Force pilot. Because of her dad's
That explains a bit.
military career, the family moved around a lot in her early years before finally settling down in Kansas. From a young age, she took an interest in photography and filmmaking and worked as a camera operator throughout most of the 90s before one of her bosses suggested she try her hand at directing. Apparently, this was a good idea.
Great
and
success.
After graduating with a master's degree in directing, she immediately went to work on short films that attracted attention on the indie film festival circuit and helped to build her credibility as an up-and-coming director. The contacts she made in these first couple of years.
Oh, yeah, I
eventually
forgot
allowed
she
her
made
to
that movie.
scrape together $1.5 million for her first feature film in 2003, Monster, about a street prostitute who becomes a serial killer. Lovely. Charlize Theron did the seemingly impossible and made herself look ugly, so you knew this was a very serious film.
Well, 25 years ago, that was something weird. Now, it's just how she looks.
And ended up giving the performance of her career, bagging her one and only Oscar win in the process. Monster was a critical and commercial hit that went on to make over $60 million, putting Jenkins firmly on the map. Well done, Patty. The only question was, what next? Well,
Fuck
her
all.
answer was to do fuck all. She toyed with various projects over the next few years, a biopic here, an off-kilter drama there, but none of them got off the drawing board. Opportunities waned, and when Jenkins fell pregnant, she retreated.
And for a lot of people, that is the bad thing about winning said awards, especially when you haven't done anything else really, and you're untested, and your freshman outing gets you such rave rewards because you have to be paid more. But people are wary to work with you because they haven't really seen anything that you've done, or in her case, you've done fuck all.
Retreated into TV work for the next decade, directing occasional episodes of shows like Entourage or The Killing. And that could just as easily have been the end of our story right there. A promising young director who struck gold with one hit movie, failed to ride the wave of success, and slowly disappeared into TV obscurity. But then something interesting happened. Well, actually two interesting things happened. The first is that for whatever reason, Hollywood began to take notice of Patty Jenkins again. In 2011, she was approached to direct Thor 2 for Marvel, and you might not know this, but she actually signed on to the project. Her creative vision was a kind of Romeo and Juliet in space, where Thor and Jane play the tragic star-crossed lovers, literally, separated by circumstances beyond their control, and spend most of the movie pining for each other.
Great plan.
Thank you.
Sure, okay. As you probably guessed from this brief description, this kind of tragic romantic drama wasn't exactly in line with Marvel's brand of quippy, action-packed, pop culture referencing superhero slop, and so the two sides were soon at odds with each other. Jenkins was starting to get cold feet, especially since this was her first theatrical movie in almost a decade, and a high-profile failure could kill not just her own career, but the prospects for other female directors in
Because she
future.
was doing so much.
She ultimately dropped out, citing creative differences. Again, this could have been the end of the road for her, a second chance at the big time that she chose not to take. But then the second interesting thing happens. In 2015, Jenkins was approached to direct the new Wonder Woman movie that was in development as part of Zack Snyder's DC universe, with
Yes.
Gal Gadot in the lead role.
Because again, for some reason, and I don't know why I know why they do this. They do it because they can have more control over people who haven't really worked on anything before. She was someone that you've heard of, but she hadn't really done anything. So they took her in because they could control her on this big budget project, and so Zack Snyder, and more importantly the studio, could have a lot of power because she didn't have the notoriety to have her opinion be heard more than that, until the sequel at least.
Like Thor 2, that she had never been super excited about anyway, Wonder Woman was exactly the kind of project she'd been looking for, and she threw herself into the work like never before. She was a natural fit for a movie like this, bringing a much needed feminine edge to the character of Diana, and quickly understanding Gal Gadot's, limited acting range, never demanding more than she could deliver. Now, keep that in mind, dear viewer, because it'll be important later. Anyway, Wonder Woman ended up being a surprise hit.
Which is big praise. Recognizing that your main star has an accent that you don't really understand, and that she doesn't really emote or act well at all, is very important. So, and she did very good at making her look like a powerhouse, and very well at making her seem like she knew what she was talking about most of the time.
Smashing box office
Letting women...
expectations with
I
over
don't agree with that
300
necessarily.
million
For the most part,
worldwide,
sure, but...
shattering the prevailing wisdom that female-led superhero movies weren't commercially viable, and delivering a much-needed shot in the arm for the struggling Snyderverse. Holy shit, the girl had only gone and done it. After like 15 years in the wilderness, Patty Jenkins' time had finally come, and she was well and truly in the big leagues now. Before you knew it, people were tripping over themselves to snap her up. Kathleen Kennedy, always on the lookout for anyone without a Y chromosome, signed her on for Star Wars Rogue Squadron to great fanfare.
Because her dad was a pilot.
Project she'd commissioned that ultimately went nowhere. Her new bestie Gal Gadot couldn't wait to work with her again either, and proudly announced that they were going to be doing a sweeping historical epic about Cleopatra together, with Gadot in the lead role.
Uh-oh.
Right.
I mean, she would have been more believable
Holy
than
shit, man.
the
The
Netflix
human
thing.
mind can barely comprehend how amazing that movie would have been. First, though, they had to do a sequel to Wonder Woman, and this time around, Jenkins truly did want it all. She demanded directing and writing duties, not to mention a massive pay increase to put her on par with male superhero directors, and funnily enough, she got everything she wanted. Unlike...
And I will say, at the very least, the mall scene was well shot. Very, very well shot. However, it was one of those things where she was doing moves that you didn't understand while she was doing them. Like the spin move from Book of Boba Fett, where the guy does a loop-de-loop around for no fucking reason other than he thought it looked cool. You had a lot of that, like the slide that we just saw. I only watched the movie once, and I kind of blocked most of it out for good reason. But I don't think anyone was shooting at her or anything. I think she just slid for the sake of sliding.
The dour and serious World War I setting from the first movie, Wonder Woman 1984 would be a homage to the fads and excesses of 1980s culture, with Pedro Pascal playing a thinly disguised Trump allegory, and Chris Pine returning through a bit of unsolicited body swapping. Everyone at Warner Brothers was thrilled.
And that was super weird. The fact that they didn't just bring him back to life, and instead he inhabited the body of someone else, which technically means that Gal Gadot was sexually assaulting random guy who her boyfriend had possessed. Not unlike the movie Obsession.
And expectations were riding sky high for this one. This was the movie that would truly cement Patty Jenkins as one of the real powerhouses in modern Hollywood.
That is one big pile of shit.
Yeah, so that didn't happen.
no.
Wonder
Oh,
Woman
no, what
1984
happened?
wasn't just a regular flop. It was an unmitigated disaster of biblical proportions, released while the world was still in the grip of the unspecified virus of unknown origin.
bother.
Remember that? Remember losing like 2 years of our lives, getting arrested for sitting on park benches, and wearing fucking face nappies every time we went inside buildings and pretending it was normal? That was a crazy time, wasn't it?
Yep.
Anyway, even if the movie hadn't released in the midst of all this retarded bullshit, it still would have bombed.
Yeah.
It was goofy and dated, laughable when it was trying to be serious, painfully oversaturated, with action scenes that made it abundantly clear Patty Jenkins hadn't directed a single second of the fight sequences from the previous film, and lumbered with some of the worst acting ever seen in a movie ever. Remember how Jenkins was careful to work around Gadot's acting limitations in the first film and never asked for more than she could deliver? Well, that all went out the window in this movie. Somehow she convinced herself that Gal Gadot was capable of delivering powerful, heartfelt, emotional moments, and the results are just
That whole ending
beyond
sequence.
words.
Max Lord, you're putting
Bro, I was just about to type something like that. I heard Wonder Woman is... No, she did. She did. She made a wish on this wishing thing in the movie that her boyfriend would come back, and instead of just bringing him back in his own body or granting him a new body or doing this or that or making like a 24-hour or 48-hour or however fucking long the screenplay necessitated for him to be back, he possessed another guy. He didn't even look like the other guy, but he was played by Chris Pine because Chris Pine was inside of him, giggity. And yeah. So technically this other guy was possessed, much like the movie Obsession, by the way. Great movie. Crazy scary. Especially if you've ever dated a crazy person. But yeah, it was completely insane. And exactly... with the exception of it being a different person and not purposefully done. Now, the guy in Obsession didn't know that it was actually going to happen. He was just like, oh, I wish that she loves me. He didn't know it was going to happen. Wonder Woman also didn't know it was going to happen, but didn't stop either one of them.
yourself and everyone else in grave danger.
I need you to give me the stone.
She also convinced herself that she could write a compelling, logically consistent...
Now, I will say she was even worse than Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to, deliver monologues.
superhero script without any help whatsoever. This also proved to be false. Like when people pointed out the morally reprehensible act of Diana selfishly forcing herself onto the possessed body of an innocent man just because she wanted to sleep with her dead boyfriend, her reaction was, I don't see it that way. Well, unfortunately, everyone else did, and Wonder Woman...
just like a lot of people don't think that one chick actually killed her kids, even though she admitted to it. The court decided that she did. I think there was a jury, and they decided that she did.
1984 turned out to be a critical and commercial disaster.
This chick.
Which DC had never seen before. And
a lot of people on TikTok don't think that
fell
she
on
killed
Jenkins
them,
herself.
but...
The star that had been on the rise only a few
She
months
did.
earlier now came crashing back to Earth like a fucking meteor. Interest in the Cleopatra movie with Gal Gadot quickly dried up, and Rogue Squadron was quietly removed from the Star Wars upcoming slate. Nobody seemed to want to work with her anymore, and who could blame them? Even her pitch for Wonder Woman 3 that would have had Steve Trevor resurrected again was rejected by Warner Brothers, who could probably see the writing on the wall with this one. When they politely suggested she try again with something different, her reaction was more or less, go fuck yourselves, I don't need you anyway.
Yeah, fuck
It was
you.
a completely unjustified meltdown that burned her one remaining bridge in Hollywood, and with that, her short-lived career as an A-list director was over. So what the hell's she up to these days?
Fuck
well,
all.
not a lot as it turns out. In the 6 years since Wonder Woman 1984 got sharted out into the world,
has it been
she
6
hasn't
years?
directed a single movie or TV show and seems to have pretty much vanished into obscurity again. Who knows? Maybe 10 years from now she'll show up again and direct another triumphant comeback film, but something tells me it won't be happening. Pride really does cometh before a fall, and Patty Jenkins' fall was the kind you do not rise from again. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Guys, real quick, sad news. I saw this morning. Hayden Panettiere. You know her as the little racist girl from Remember the Titans. She was also the cheerleader Claire Bennett, I think, was her character's name in that show Heroes. That was really good for the first, well, pretty good for the first season. Started off well in the second season, then the writer strike happened, and then the rest of the show sucked. And then she was also the best part of, I think, Scream 4. And then for some reason she was in Scream 5 or 6. But she's passed away. People don't know why. I'm assuming it was self-inflicted. But 36 years old. It's absolutely crazy. Not as crazy as her recently coming out as bisexual for clout. But again, I'm sure that had something to do. That was also drug-induced, probably, like her demise. But very sad. She was a pretty damn good actress whenever she did do things. I think she was in one of the crappy Bring It On sequels. She was usually the best part of whatever she was in. And it's actually really sad. I thought she was pretty. She seemed pretty nice from everything I've seen. She didn't seem like she was too into current things. So, God, 36. Anyway.
We've got a hate problem larger than we've ever had. We launched a
crosses to burn for the KKK. If this lady from the SPLC, like if she were...
And this is something I wanted to carry, also pretty interesting. They used 1984 on all your titles.
You were stranded with her in the Andes, because that's where I see a lot of the cannibalism. You would all be eaten immediately. Like, she wouldn't ration you.
No, dude, in the Andes...
She wouldn't ration you.
You're going to see, folks, you're going to see her in a second. In the Andes, no chance she's going to get to the top of the mountain.
Well, no chance she's not getting top. But that's the whole point. If the plane goes, before it just goes, I give up.
Yeah, but then the plane crashes, and I walk 10 feet up.
Yeah. Well, okay, assuming that you can't walk 10, assuming you're stuck to your seatbelt. The point is, this lady, if she was a cannibal, none of you would exist. You would cease to exist. You'll understand what I'm getting to in a second. So remember the SPLC, right? They were charged earlier. We talked about this. I don't know, was it a month ago? A little more than a month ago?
Yeah.
Southern Poverty Law Center. It's very important for me to set this up, too, because I know some people are new and may not be aware. This was the center that was largely used to determine hate groups, the largest threat as far as radical extremists, Christian white men, also used to set standards for YouTube and big tech, the Southern Poverty Law Center. And, of course, it was always very anti-Christian and very sympathetic to the Islamic cause and, of course, unbelievably biased. So they were found to have been funding hate groups. Now, remember, when this came out, the SPLC, and specifically their CEO, they defended against it. Remember what they told you? Look, this is fake news. This is not us funding hate groups. It's very normal for investigative journalists to be using and or paying informants. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Spoiler, it's not, but watch.
Although we don't know all the details, the focus appears to be on the SPLC's prior use of paid confidential informants to gather credible intelligence on extremely violent groups.
That's what they put out.
This use of informants was necessary because
And they got the
are
blackest guy that
stranger
works
to
there
threats of violence.
to say it.
So, basically, this comes out, story, you guys are paying, you guys are actually the ones funneling money to these hate groups. They go, no. We were paying informants who were presenting as part of these hate groups so that we could get information. Right. Okay. Well, now we have the first arrest of a person connected in this case. And it's they weren't just using informants. So it's bad. Let me give you some key facts here. Check the references, link in the description. So key fact 1, their former CFO, Heidi Byrick, has been arrested, longtime head of SPLC's hate group tracking arm, the Intelligence Project.
Ooh.
She oversaw donor money funneled
Apparently
to
she thinks tracking means creating.
the Imperial Wizard of the KKK, it's a hell of an informant.
Yeah.
National Alliance, the Nazi, the National Socialist Party of America, Sadistic Souls Motorcycle Club.
Sadistic
Souls Motorcycle
They
Club.
sound- okay,
Because Satan's little helper was taken. So keeping in
It's a
mind,
nice Simpsons reference.
By the way, there's so much more. But keeping in mind that the Southern Poverty Law Center money was being used to keep racism alive so they could point to it as a threat, here's Heidi.
White supremacy is an indigenous ideology in the United States.
Pause.
And we don't really...
This is childish, and you will say that I love that she has put zero effort into any other facets of her appearance, but thinks that purchasing lip fillers will save her.
Well, the lip fillers aren't for appearance; they're for helping the food stay in.
Oh, so she can swallow like an anaconda
yes.
and not
Yes,
even
get
chew.
more in. Yeah.
All right, play.
Have, a lot of resources put at that particular problem, white supremacist domestic terrorism. This has been
I mean, if she hadn't done this, she would have been lunch lady.
the consequence of Trump's actions. Donald Trump doesn't care about hate crimes. He's made that very clear. These crazy ideas used to be stuck
Hate
in the
crimes are
fringes,
very rare.
And now, in the era of Trump, they have been mainstreamed. We came up with this
Because you
idea
paid
that we
for 'em.
should sue these
Yeah.
folks in civil court to bankrupt them. Our hope is that by taking their money away, they can't function anymore.
I mean, it is funny that most of the Confederate flags that people do wave in a lot of these situations do look brand new. I always thought that was weird. You think they would just have it at home, perhaps?
White supremacists commit far more acts of domestic terrorism in the United States
Not true.
than radical Islamists. So the
That's so not
which you
true.
see a picture of here
From your phone.
is what most of us
That's from her
think
family
about as
reunion.
the iconic American hate group. Reminds us once again that hate is a
But again, where was that? Was that in a city? Was that doing a lynching? Or was it one of two things? It was either some stupid little hate rally in the middle of fuck all anywhere that didn't hurt anybody, or this is something that she staged for clicks. Either way, who gives a fuck what a bunch of drunken rednecks do in their on their little plot of land in the middle of bumfuck nowhere?
alive and well in parts of this society. These
What is in your
groups
petty
have
cash?
seen their
Isn't that
numbers
HOA
increase,
president?
particularly since Donald Trump started campaigning. 3 dozen right-wing foundations who were spending millions and millions of dollars a year to prop up this essentially artificial
But enough about
network,
you.
Right? These people didn't really have grassroots support. Never in the history of
Over
mankind
4
has there
million,
been a
to be clear. I'll get to it.
that allowed hatred to proliferate.
Millions on racism,
like it
zero
does
on
today.
mascara.
So we've got a hate problem larger than we've ever had. We
Than
launched
you.
a program to try to get the foundation world to stop giving money to hate groups. Most people
Oh,
don't
so they
realize
should stop
how
funding
much
you.
Yeah, stop
domestic
yourself.
terrorism there is out there coming from white supremacists and anti-government crazies
Dude's
like
ugly.
the McVeighs of the world. The issue of hate crimes is not taken seriously enough in this country.
Well, it certainly won't be taken seriously now, thanks to you. But
It's
you
like
must
if
say
Lisa
something to this?
Lampanelli
She
wasn't
also
fun,
likes the
funny.
video game villain. Oh my God! So
Oh, hold on. You made a cool FNAF prompt? Awesome. Did you like my my Spider-Man thumbnail that I made? That took me like 20 minutes to get it right, man. They kept for some reason, unless I specify exactly what my outfit's supposed to look like, it will change everything about my outfit for whatever reason. Kept giving me little nimbly shoes and socks up to my thighs. For some reason, I don't know why it wanted to put me in thigh highs, but and then it'll either make my bowler either super huge or super tiny, which for a head the size of mine is just the size of a regular bowler and my gigantic ass head.
Farley and sing about her.
What's for lunch? Everything.
There's only one surefire way to make mad gains.
And off for life.
Oh,
Fact,
thank you, Angie.
Number 2, so from 2007 to 2023, over 4 million of the tax-exempt donations given to the SPLC were funneled to hate groups for hosting and promoting hate rallies, for actually buying robes, hoods, and crosses to burn for the KKK.
Hey, that's not nothing. Those robes are expensive. They have to get them cut.
Like you have to understand. It's completely different to pay an informant to give you information about what these people are doing, where they're meeting, what potentially they could be plotting, versus buying their fucking supplies for them and canvassing to expand memberships. From what I'm seeing, basically the same thing as remember there was like 4 or 5 guys about 6-10 years ago that were gonna assassinate Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Wisconsin, or one of those shitty northern states. And it turns out a bunch of feds just went into a bar, a rednecky looking bar, and said, hey, got a bunch of drunk guys all amped up, to kill Gretchen Whitmer, and then they all went home, and then they woke up and got arrested for drunken conversation.
Custom made.
That's right. Well, they're Bowl and Branch robes, worn by no less than 4 Grand Wizards. Bowl and Branch robes.
Only the best.
That was a great Ben Shapiro impression.
Burning crosses. My perfect clan robe. Now,
Sheets as thick as Ben Shapiro's eyebrows.
Steven.
and here's the other thing. So all this money, so much money, just informants, over $4 million. You're buying robes. You're buying silk for the informants. Well, key fact 3. That broad was in a romantic relationship with one of the quote-unquote informants. So to give an example, the informant was paid $1.2 million in an instance to steal hate group docs, like documents for the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center. $1.2 million to get some documents. And then that broad shared a bank account with the informant, almost like they weren't concerned about a paper trail. 140,000 of the 1.2 million that was used, it was used to pay for the couple's personal expenses. So many Golden Corral receipts, I don't know.
You can't write all
140,000.
They're
So
personal
she
robes.
is at SPLC. You got the hate crime. Here, let me buy you some more of the robes and the crosses to burn.
Yeah.
Don't worry, 140,000 of it could just be for, our 5-course meals. We'll toss some lip filler in there. White supremacy is the greatest threat. This is what the left has.
That's crazy.
Was it Tim Walz?
Oh my God, 140,000 of the 1.2 million paid to this guy. Over 4 million, but just 1.2 million to one guy who she was banging.
And no Ozempic.
For their personal expenses. Personal expenses, some of which I should note was earmarked for their upcoming nuptials, a rare occurrence when both bride and groom wear white veils.
Oh my God. I now pronounce you.
OKKK Cupid.
I do. Not like blacks.
That's right. Whoa!
He's a perfect man.
In sickness and in health, in jeans and in robes,
That's right.
until burning cross death. do we
Oh
part.
my God, dude, that's so funny. Is Akbar really mouse in Hebrew? Oh, dude, if that's true, that's hilarious.
That's what I call them coloreds when I'm done with it.
Oh, shit.
Doesn't matter if you can see. It only matters if his horse can see.
What's next? Chibbling?
Racist only.
So here's the thing. There is. But I used to say, yeah, you'll get some occasional radicals, like hard racism on the right. But you get all of the quote-unquote soft racism on the left, the soft bigotry of low expectations. We've talked about that. But now you see it's pretty damn clear. The soft racism, right, the DEI, the affirmative action, that exists on the left. And so does the hard racism, because they fund it. So pretty much all of the racism is coming from the left, outside of humor. All right. I think it's done now. I think we know.
Well, but we need people to go to jail for this. This is one of those things. Nobody's going to jail for stuff. I'm sorry. Have you seen the prosecutions right here?
Yeah.
People
She's been
being
arrested.
That's fantastic. So hopefully we'll see that go. By the way, really quickly, just kind of as a tag onto this, there's a CNN kind of is it a freeze frame or like the
10-second clip.
No, 10-second clip. I just want you to see this. We'll focus on the Chiron. Focus on the Chiron.
We still don't know here, but obviously the raw imagery
Black
of
woman
a black person
found hanging from tree in Mississippi.
South evokes a very painful history. Now,
Oh, that's terrible, right?
Of course.
Until you get to the part where the black boyfriend was arrested that they left out of the report.
Oh.
It's like CNN
Oh.
in
A black boyfriend hung his black girlfriend from a tree?
And CNN's like, the images of a black woman hanging from a tree evokes. And I'm like,
Well, yeah.
are you being paid to like prop up the white supremacy thing? Can we talk to this girl and see if she was paying CNN people as well to leave stuff out of stories?
So they're just clarifying. They said the only arrest is the black boyfriend. He hasn't been accused or convicted yet.
Oh,
He's
okay.
been arrested?
He was arrested, though.
He's been arrested.
Clarification is
so-
helpful.
Okay. So it seems like the boyfriend might have done it. We don't know.
Because he was arrested.
Well, either way, look. It's horrible.
He wasn't brought in for questioning. He was arrested. I'm saying.
Didn't live.
I don't
have the
think
information.
so,
I thought you were going to tell me like black woman hang from a tree, and then they just show the video, and she's like, wee, doing monkey.
like
It's still sad.
Tire swing.
Yeah, it's still a buzzkill.
The Forrest Gump scene.
Yeah.
Practicing for the Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, she's practicing for like American Ninja Warrior. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because the live daily show is now streaming exclusively on
Okay, 2 more things real quick. We're going to do it a little bit. We're going to close on a very dark thing, but I also wanted to, after rewatching Spider-Man, I got the total odds for Willem Dafoe in the chat. I mean, yeah, he was pretty cut for a dude that was, I think, 46, 50, something like that. A lot of people like the Goblin look. I mean, I'm sure someone out there thinks Andy Serkis is just the bee's knees. So Shoe on Head has been out there doing things. Well, real quick. First of all, Dad to the Bone, which is a stupid name. It sounds like that you may diddle your kids. A quick reminder that Kyle Rittenhouse showed up to a protest like this, shot and killed others, and was celebrated by MAGA. Meanwhile, Alex Preddy showed up to the protest like this, was shot and killed, then condemned by MAGA. Please stop saying this isn't political. Please stop conflating the two. First of all, Alex Preddy attacked law enforcement who were arresting people, whether or not you like... Look, whether or not you like that people are arrested or even violently arrested, do not get involved. Let it happen. Let the person sue and take video. Okay? Because all you're going to do is get yourself needlessly in trouble or killed, get the person you're trying to help killed, kill a cop, which isn't going to be good for anybody. Take video. Okay? Call your local police if it is ICE, if you think that they are doing bad things. But make sure that you document it if you do think that this is the case. On the other hand, Kyle Rittenhouse showed up because there was supposed to be a huge protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin that night. He had the gun for safety. He was out there providing medical aid to people on both sides. And he only shot people when a little child molesty, midget, bald-headed, muscle-bound dude kept calling him the N-word and attacked him. And then someone in the distance shot a gun, and that's the only reason why Kyle Rittenhouse turned and fired. This sent the whole mob into a frenzy, and they all started to chase him, and he only shot people who attacked him. One of which also had a gun, and he shot him in the forearm like a fucking boss. Okay? These two people are not the same. Kyle Rittenhouse, shot in defense, didn't get killed because he didn't fight the police. Alex Preddy, giant aggressive retard, was killed because he attacked police. Whether or not you think that his actions were justified, whether or not that you think his actions were good, going to a protest with a gun and attacking authorities of any kind is retarded and will get you or other people killed. You're not a hero. You're a fucking autistic retard. I know that's redundant, but still. Anyway. Sorry, I think of random people getting punched in the face by migrants, mostly Islamic migrants. If tomorrow we weren't allies with Israel, all of our wars in the Middle East would end immediately. That's not true. Remind me again how being allies with the bullies of the region who oppress and humiliate their neighbors is helpful to American interest. Why is this fiction being pushed on us 24/7? They're not being bullies, okay? They are literally retaliating against people who are firing upon them, whether it be Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah. It doesn't matter what country it's coming from. Even Lebanon's president has come out and said, hey, if you're terrorists, stop shooting out of my fucking country. That way Israel won't fire back. And Cenk Uyghur's very own Anna Kasparian, is it? Call him like a bitch or something. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. But she accused him of being bought and paid for by Israel, basically. what the fuck are we even talking about? Cenk Uygur, you are a shadow of your former self, which is a very fat shadow. You used to be smaller. I missed all the episodes back in the day where you were talking about fucking animals. However, the guy you were back then would hate who you are now. 100%. I used to be a big Young Turks fan, again, 15, 20 years ago, back when they were first started during the first Obama term. Again, Obama, the only time I ever voted was for Obama in the first term. I was going to vote for McCain. Ended up voting for Obama because I thought McCain's vice president was retarded. Then Shoe on Head has been on a tear lately. If you are dating a woman, ask her about the viral case talked about where a woman strangled her 3 kids to death. If she's on her side or thinks the husband did it, her brain has been fried by TikTok and you need to break up with her now. And then, of course, all the base people backing her up. This woman is a monster. And they've raised $730,000 for her. I don't understand how this happens. I thought GoFundMe had rules against this. Maybe because you worded it to be for the family, which the family's dead. Just so you know, the family is dead. Unless you're raising this for the husband, who didn't kill the kids, then what is this even for? This is for the grandparents so they can buy new grandkids? What are we even talking about here? Send me that money. Anyway. Yeah. As a millennial, we already had another woman that did this, Casey Anthony. By the way, now Casey Anthony is, I'm pretty sure that she's an avid leftist. Imagine that. How freeing it is to have a super late-term abortion by murdering your young kids. Oh yeah, and Dean Withers has been accused.
They're really trying their best. Fuck. Fuck, dude. God, man.
Keep in mind, this is a person who lies about other people, who will rapidly take people's statements out of context and try to paint them as either pedophiles or rapist or anything like that. This believe all women guy, he finally gets accused, and now he's trying to say they're trying to do to him what he does to people for a fucking living. Cry me a river, dude. This dude, they tried to paint him as the left's Joe Rogan. The left had a Joe Rogan. They cast him out. The left had a Tim Pool and a Joe Rogan and cast them both out because they're retarded. Anyway.
I completely understand that if you put your heart and your soul into something, you want everybody to love it the way that you do. But there are so many people that are working in Hollywood, in the video game industry, that cannot deal with criticism. And oftentimes they say criticism equals harassment, which isn't the case. And over the past couple of months, the new Insomniac Marvel's Wolverine game has been heavily criticized. There are a lot of elements that people are not interested in seeing in their experiences, from lazy boss battles to pretty bad character designs. But now you have multiple developers and multiple people on social media saying that this is unfair, it has been a relentless onslaught, and if you criticize them, you are a terrible person. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I completely understand that if you work on something for years and years and years, you want people to see the effort that went into a product. You want people to love it the way that you do and recognize all of the little details and talk about your experience in a positive manner. But if I am a paying customer, that means I am allowed to criticize. And oftentimes now, when a movie or a TV show or a video game or even a book is criticized, the person behind that project will play their victim card and say, oh, you are being racist or sexist or a bigot and you are being a terrible person. This time we are hearing people say that, oh, there is a targeted harassment campaign being levied towards this game,
Oh, yes,
which is
of course.
insane because Spider-Man 1 did phenomenal. Everybody
Yeah.
loved that game. Spider-Man 2 is where people really started to heavily criticize Insomniac and say,
Yeah, most people even enjoyed Spider-Man Miles Morales, the little filler game that basically should have been DLC for the first game. Yeah, people even really liked it. I thought it was a pretty good game. I haven't. I'm probably gonna play through it after I'm done playing the original Marvel, Sony, Spider-Man, whatever. But yeah, Spider-Man 2, not a great game. I mean, just like most Sony sequels, the gameplay, yes, it improved. The graphics, yes, improved, except for all the women look like me. Or this. Other than that, the gameplay is often improved. That's about it.
maybe they're just a one-trick pony. They can't really innovate. They keep just creating the same experiences over and over. And with Spider-Man 2, right, there were a plethora of issues. Peter being replaced, Miles Morales being a star in that title. You had pretty bad storylines, pretty bad character designs, and Sweet Baby Inc. was affiliated with it, which people didn't like. And now we're moving on to Wolverine. Sweet Baby Inc. is also a part of this project. There are also female character designs being heavily criticized. People are pointing and laughing at some of the boss fights and just a lot surrounding this game, but apparently that means that you're a terrible person, at least in the eyes of the people working on this and some of the Insomniac defenders on social media. And I want to say really quickly that it's perfectly fine if you like a game that was co-developed by Sweet Baby Inc. It's perfectly fine if you think that this game looks great. It's fine if you like Miles Morales and you like Spider-Man 2. I'm not here to tell you what you can and cannot like, but it is also perfectly fine if I dislike something that you like, and that shouldn't mean I should be called an ist or a phobe due to criticizing it or laughing at it. So it says, it's a relentless onslaught. The Wolverine PS5 dev responds to the unprecedented criticism. I cannot believe this is good for anyone's mental health. I'm not exactly sure how and why it's happened, but Marvel's Wolverine has become the butt of all social media jokes. It's crime. I'm honestly not even sure. It looks pretty good, and the first round of previews have largely matched that sentiment, but social media is awash with absolutely brutal commentary right now, and predictably, it's not the constructive kind. You are not listening to the constructive kind. None of the developers in the video game industry right now are listening to the constructive kind, and the only way that they actually do not just silence us or ignore us or block us is when we meme on them. We point and laugh at them. We become extremely loud. Maybe if they went back to the good old days where social media managers and community managers actually, I don't know, communicated with the audience and communicated to the developers what we like and don't like, the state of the industry would be wildly different right now.
Look, and no one's saying to... Because chuds used to mean all the people that you didn't want to be on your side, and now everyone just calls themselves chuds because we get called chuds all the time for giving pretty based opinions on things. But the original definition of chuds, I mean, those guys, you don't want in any of these groups, and you don't want their opinions, just the same way as the people who harass people online. Or who are the guys who would go in there and talk about, you know, assaulting women in chats and all this. But at the same time, the block and mute button has existed, and you can block all these people. You can tell the difference between people who are giving their actual opinions on a comic book character or a video game or a movie character or any of these things versus people who were out there just to be egregious. Or at least you could if you weren't egregious in the other direction yourself.
If it takes some jokes and some memes being put on social media to have some posts go viral and for the developers to actually see what we like and don't like, that's just the way that it is going to be. And they sit here and say that they don't understand, and it is because they are not listening. People are extremely vocal about what they like and dislike, but you just call us ists and phobes when we say something that you are not personally the biggest fan of. Now, we are living in a time where there are over 20,000 video games releasing every single year. This game had hundreds of millions of dollars put into it. You are going to charge a full AAA price for this experience. So yes, people are going to give their commentary because it is not okay if something releases and it just looks all right when you are charging us so much money and there are so many other options out there for games that may be better. You need to continue to grow and strive for greatness, and it just seems right now that Insomniac is doing a million things that are safe, right? Press W.
But they're not safe. I don't know. I'm torn on the new Wolverine game. As it looks right now, I probably won't buy it day one. I'll probably wait for a couple reviews to come out. If Angry Joe shits on it, I'll know it's bad. If he says it's good, it doesn't really mean anything to me. But if he shits on it, then I'll know it's actually bad. But I have a few people who I watch, whose opinions I take at various degree of seriousness. To various degrees of seriousness. Sorry, I'm still not feeling great. But I'm definitely not buying it day one. The same way I didn't buy Spider-Man 2 day one, and for good reason, because it sucked. At least as far as the story goes. The story in the first one, except for Screwball, was really good. It was damn good. They should have kept Taskmaster instead of Screwball. Other than that, it was a great game. Top tier.
Press X or press the left click button when you get to a door. It just seems like a walking simulator. Feels very linear and very safe, and that is a problem that people have. It says one video first posted in Spanish to 50k likes and then amplified in English with the caption "God tier slander for 70k more likes" compares footage of the new PS5 exclusive Sentinel boss battle to a sequence in a PS2 game Ben 10 Protector of Earth. Certainly, the Wolverine fight is not especially original, as a similar sequence is featured in various games, including all-time classics like God of War 2, where Kratos dukes it out with the Colossus of Rhodes. Hardly the end of the world, and nobody is saying that it is the end of the world. Nobody is saying that, oh my god, this is the worst game ever created because it has sequences or boss fights or elements that we have seen in a game before. It's just that it doesn't feel very original. Then in another video, it shows 15 seconds of footage of Logan running forward while someone holds a DualSense in front of the screen. Wolverine's gameplay feels like this, the caption reads, as the clip clearly shows the individual holding the up button on the analog stick. So they are very, very upset right now. We have the Access media running to the defense of this game, saying, so what's happening here? Well, I think this goes way beyond constructive criticism at this stage. There's something much deeper at play. It's clear that Marvel's Wolverine is going to be an adequate superhero adventure at its absolute worst, but these social media posts are attempting to frame it as a potential disaster. And yes, they do talk about how PlayStation killing off physical media has upset people, and because this is a PlayStation 5 exclusive, it has led to some more backlash, and I do agree with that. If you go to the YouTube account for PlayStation, you go to the Marvel Wolverine uploads, there are almost an equal amount of dislikes to likes, but the problem is that this was happening way before PlayStation announced they were killing off physical media. So
yeah,
sure, some of the backlash might be to that, but it's not all of the backlash. They're completely ignoring that people have been criticizing the female character designs and even Wolverine's design. People have been criticizing Insomniac Games for years at this point. People have been calling out the fact that they're working with Sweet Baby Ink. Like, they're just writing an article to say, oh my god, boo-hoo, poor developers, we need to protect them, when they're perfectly fine. Here are some other posts, though. Like Synth Potato said, why is there such a weird hate campaign against the Wolverine game? Yes, guys, because if you criticize a product, that means that you are pushing a hate campaign against it. That's definitely a solid mentality, guys. I mean, oh my god, this is ridiculous. I don't think it looks like a masterpiece, but people are acting like Spider-Man 2 is the worst game ever, and that this game will be terrible when it literally looks great. Insomniac has always made good games. This is so funny because they're saying it looks great, but also it doesn't look like a masterpiece. I would consider a masterpiece and great to be very close to one another, but okay. The responses are exactly what you would expect. It's just the same old stuff done in the same old way to the same old standards, and I think people are a bit sick of pretending it isn't bigger and better than it actually is. People who were looking forward to this game no doubt have played the 2009 Wolverine game, and that game looks more fun, more epic, more action-packed, and more badass. Also, Sweet Baby Ink is radioactive and has a touch of death, a very poor choice. It's super weird. Like, people are literally making video games to entertain us and to give us joy and memories, and there's so much negativity, it's ridiculous. Yes, because if you are expecting me to give you my money, I expect a high-quality product that looks unique, not the same old slop we've constantly been getting. Not gonna lie, this hate boner for Insomniac that's developed over the last couple of years is hella weird and undeserved.
It's really
Maybe
not.
If there are a lot of people criticizing a studio, it's not a hate campaign, but because people feel that the studio isn't doing good enough. I know that's really shocking that a studio can be criticized, but apparently to these people, they are shocked and appalled by that. So yeah, Wolverine has been facing a lot of backlash over the past couple of months, and now that we're only a few weeks away from release, it has gotten...
Which is really sad, because I've been looking forward to this game since the announcement. But it was announced before Spider-Man 2 came out, I believe, which is why I was so excited about it. Before I heard all the things that have been going on with Insomniac since then, looks like they are leaning more towards the screwball perspective than I thought.
Even stronger, but at least we're getting some enjoyment out of this situation because we're getting a lot of good laughs. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts.
All right, real quick. Like just this right here. I don't know if Fake Wizard posted this. I don't know if this is a real still or if it's AI generated. I don't know, because a lot of people will AI generate stills instead of just pausing and taking a screenshot. But a couple things wrong with this facial expression. It's a bit too for me. The length of the blades should not be longer than the forearms, clearly. Which is still a good size blade, honestly. Because it still has to rest within the bone structure of the hands. But I don't know. That's my main two things. This is him wearing the Weapon X whatever uniform, I'm guessing. But I don't know, man. I got a bad feeling about it, the same way I did about Spider-Man 2. I'm sure the gameplay is going to be great. The boss fights are going to be lackluster, and I don't know why Jean Grey is fighting in a hand-to-hand fight, considering the magnitude of her powers, and I don't know why they made her look more feminine or less feminine than Wolverine. But anyway, that's going to be all for me today, guys. I went way over time. I gotta run, get to work. Still not feeling great, but I'm feeling well enough to do the show. The show's gonna be starting between 5:30 and 5:45 until I do start feeling better, and then I'm gonna try to move to the earlier format like I was before. Again, I'm probably gonna go to the doctor sometime this week, see what's going on with me if I don't get better over the next day or two. And probably should anyway, just for good measure. But I appreciate you guys. Again, I'm sorry I wasn't here on Thursday and Friday, but I did the show on Sunday. And I'm going to do another one sometime this week. Not going to give you an exact day, but just look for it in the announcements. It will be in the evening time, Central Time for me, probably like 6 or 7. And it'll be for like an hour or two, and then Sundays until I get all the way through the game. But thank you all for coming by. I appreciate you. It means the world to me. Y'all have a great day. This is Alfie Animus for the Associated Guests.